speaking of Joey, he just released the biggest federal spending budget since World War II. So when we came out of World War II, we had the space race, we had this post-war economy that was booming.
Yep.
We had this technological revolution that happened, all these amazing things that were happening that involved spending. Now we have, we're not spending it on investigating China. We're not spending it on fighting back Russia. We're not putting it into our military. We're defunding the police. So we have pronouns and highways, but not real highways, like mental highways between people.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I didn't get the highway.
Telepathy. Yeah.
Telepathy.
We have all this stuff, and we have. So I don't know. I don't know what exactly the $6 trillion budget he
I know
just
where it's
put
going.
out is going
Oh,
into.
yeah.
It's going into critical race theory. It's going into censorship, I guess. These things that don't really cost extra
Hey,
money.
big tech. Yeah.
That's right. Electric cars. Yeah, $6
Right.
trillion
Windmills.
of electric cars and windmills.
Yeah.
And Bernie Sanders mittens.
And paying Russian hackers.
Yes.
We have to pay the Russian hackers, of course.
A big fund for that. And binoculars, so Joe Biden can check out 6-year-olds, like he did at his speech the other day, where he complimented a 6-year-old girl's legs, or
They're in the middle of a whole speech.
something about her hair looking nice too.
Didn't he stop the whole speech and made that comment?
I think he was like he was expected to make this speech. He like ran up to a group of young girls and just like was like, "We need to make sure they get ice cream." It was just like he's just very I don't know. People say he knows what he's doing. I just struggle to believe that so much.
Yeah, I mean, at least there was a lot of backlash to that. I've read a lot of backlash.
That he's a creep?
That he's a creep.
Yeah.
Which is no. I mean, he should be receiving the backlash. I feel like he hasn't in the past for all the things he's done. But more recent thing, I mean, I've seen more backlash on this particular event, especially.
Yeah, and speaking of Joe, I mean, one great thing he has been doing is that he announced he's been willing to compromise on the infrastructure bill. So infrastructure, everything was thrown to his infrastructure. Infrastructure is roads, ports, highways, and you could say buildings.
Yeah.
Just like our physical infrastructure that our society depends on. But then you had so much extra in there. You had like foreign aid, you had teaching tactics, you had electric cars, and all this stuff that isn't infrastructure. It's not.
Right.
Now he's been willing to, his price was $2.1 trillion. GOP doesn't want to spend that. He went back down to 1.3. GOP doesn't want to spend that. So GOP's number is like, conservative, I support infrastructure. New York is horrible. New York is, you drive in New York, it's just like, you will support any infrastructure plan that's put out. As long as it's true infrastructure. So GOP number is like 600 billion, I think. And Biden has said he's willing to compromise, which is amazing.
It was 2.1 trillion.
Yeah.
To begin with.
Yeah.
Wow.
And 6% was going to roads and bridges.
Oh wait, we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's insane. But now he's been willing to come down with the price, which is just great. So thank you, Joe. I will thank you profusely when you do the right thing. And bipartisanship is always the right thing in America.
Yeah, you have to give it to him for that, at least. You know?
And on that note, Chuck Schumer, who I have come out hard against, but not as hard as I came out against Pelosi. Chuck isn't as bad as Pelosi. He proposed the Innovation and Competition Act so we can technologically compete with China, which is great. And that passed in the Senate 68 to 30.
That's what we need.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a great bill. Like, if you pass great bills, you get bipartisan support. It's as simple as that. If you pass these bills that are just so far out there that they just can't get support, like $2.1 trillion to send pencils to Pakistan, then you're not going to get support for it. It's just as simple as that. So,
which is good, though, because for the past few weeks, we've been talking about how different the ideologies were between the Republicans and Democrats and how hard it would be to get that bipartisanship within any bill that we'd pass. But now they're taking a step back, getting Chuck Schumer getting that bills passed, which is great because we need that with foreign affairs. And then also with Biden lowering that price and just, hey, like, let's do this. And then, that's
exactly.
really great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Moving forward.
A little bit left. A lot of stuff has been going on. Oh, my goodness. What do we got?
So internal or external?
Internal.
Do you have any external left?
I have any external left. I think you're more the external guy today.
I'm done with my external.
I do have one external.
Okay.
Let's see. So speaking about Russia. Russia had the Colonial Pipeline hack by DarkSide. It was a corporation based in Russia. That was 2 weeks ago. Maybe 2 weeks ago.
Like 3 weeks ago. More
that
so.
cut off 80% of our fuel supply, which was just, I loved it. Gas prices just flew up all over. And I just went to the gas station with a smile on my face. So there were really no repercussions for China at all. Actually, there were negative repercussions. We paid them. Like we paid DarkSide $5 million. Yeah.
You said China.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, at this
so
point.
we paid Darkside $5 million. Then our stuff didn't come back online, and it was just a huge mess. It just displayed great levels of weakness.
Should have paid express shipping.
They didn't even get that Amazon deal. It wasn't even
No.
Prime. But now Russia has committed a ransomware attack, just like Colonial was. So there's a ransom for a cyber attack against JBS, which is a meat providing company based out of Brazil. They're the largest meat provider in the world. A lot of your really popular meat companies that you go to ShopRite and you buy from, JBS is the one who they slaughter those animals. They produce that meat. We have 9 buildings in America for JBS, and there was a ransomware that shut them down completely.
And they also produce like what 1/5 of our meat.
Yeah. This track back to Russia. So again, we incentivized hacking. We said that, hey, if you hack us, we'll pay you, and then we won't get back online. And what did they do? They hacked us again.
Yeah, and this is really scary because now I feel like they're like testing waters and seeing what they can and can't do.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they're also analyzing what our reaction is. So like for example, paying the ransom for $5 million. Then the second attack was in Brazil though, right?
Yeah.
And what their reaction is. So I think they're testing waters before they do like a whole move.
Like the idea is when you go after these weak countries, the idea is that the big countries step in to support them. But then we went after the big country first.
Yeah.
You saw that they weren't ready to support them. It's like if it's like you punch the bully in the face, the bully didn't stand back up to you. Then you're just gonna make all the kids in the school your servant because the strong kid isn't willing to stand up to you. So it's just like, I mean, it's a scary idea. We weren't willing to do anything about it.
Yeah.
I tremble in my boots to think if China would do something like that. We would probably ship the pipeline to them. So just take it, keep it. We don't need it.
Yeah, I feel like Russians just play around first, which they're pretty much doing right now. But China would just go for that instant kill, right?
Just go for the kill. I mean, scary stuff. Scary stuff. What do you got? You said internal, right?
Yeah. So now going back to internal, so more like quote unquote fun topics, I guess. Not necessarily political, but I mean, the first few things I'll be saying is more so political, but it's more like U.S. government reports. Mm-hmm. So a couple reports just came out. The first one is for UFOs.
This has been big lately.
Yeah, we've been seeing. A report came out that the Pentagon will release a whole report on UFOs later this month, and they've also stated that I think it was the Navy specifically was seeing UFOs every day for the past few years.
Yeah, I read that.
Which is a lot of UFOs.
Yeah.
So that's definitely interesting. But I don't think this is my personal opinion. I don't think the report will necessarily say anything that we don't already know, kind of thing, and that haven't already assumed.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much how everything goes anyway. But it would be interesting to read and see what they have to say.
Yeah, apparently that stuff's been going on for 60 years or so.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then the second report that they released is called the 1966 report. Basically, it stated around in 1958, the U.S. was prepared to engage in nuclear warfare with China. Mm-hmm. And that was in reaction to protecting Taiwan because China was like messing with Taiwan at the time. And they were pretty much set on it was inevitable to engage in nuclear, but it just never happened. But they just released that report. I think it was like today or yesterday about it. And I mean, I guess the rest is history, pretty much.
Man, and speaking of the more kind of comical political stuff, Antonio Brown is a mayoral candidate in Atlanta who is also a city councilman. He voted to defund the police, and he had his car stolen in broad daylight by children.
Oh, man.
So, and he still advocates for a $73 million decrease in their police funding.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's what you get, Antonio. You defund the police, your car's going to get stolen by children.
Talking about candidate, Rudy Giuliani's son is also running for New York governor.
There we go.
And he has a lot of experience, guys. He has 4 years under Trump's belt. So that's what he's been telling everybody. He's been working under the Trump administration for 4 years.
Yeah.
As a sports liaison.
Literally under his belt. Like as the golf club.
Yeah, as a golf club.
Yeah.
He's the golf cart, actually. So, with that experience, I'm sure he'll be a great governor.
I don't think that he's a good candidate. I don't think he is. But,
that was sarcasm, by the way, if you guys didn't catch on.
Yeah, I really don't think that he's a good candidate. But, hey, Giuliani was great for the city, so we'll see what happens. Fentanyl, speaking of governors, rushing into Texas. Greg Abbott, the Texas governor, pronounces that fentanyl, which is very dangerous, very small doses of fentanyl are deadly, rushing into the state. So that border crisis, I know we have a lot going on. Border crisis has not died down. The April numbers, the March numbers were huge, and we reported on them a lot. April numbers were huge as well. that border crisis is not simmered down, and we're going to feel the ramifications of that very soon.
And then going back to police, there's been I guess like an endorsement of an idea through police unions targeting the quota silence. Basically, a lot has been in the talks about kind of getting rid of the quota silence and making sure that police officers are held accountable by other police officers, which is fantastic,
Beautiful.
which is great, which is something that shouldn't have been even talked about. It should have been standard practice, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, it's a step forward. I think everybody should be held accountable for their actions, and hopefully it actually creates a different atmosphere for police.
We can go back to first grade on a lot of things for this. It's like,
Right.
hey, don't tell secrets.
Right.
Like, it's like if you have secrets, you have something to hide. You know, like we can first grade solutions for a lot of these modern day problems.
Yeah.
A few more policies that have passed. California, this isn't a policy. This is just a local business. 50% discount to people who take their mask off. California businesses, if you haven't already moved, they're done with this. They're done with this whole coronavirus.
Oh, yeah.
They're done with this one death in the entire state and your business is shut down. They're done. So take your mask off. You get a 50% discount. Ron DeSantis, first day of Pride Month, announces no more transgenders in female sports. And you realize he doesn't say no more transgenders in male sports. Because if you are a female and you transition to male, go into the male sport because you're a male now, so you're fine. But now no more transgender female to male in female sports,
Right.
Because then you have that biological disadvantage.
Yeah.
So
and if anything, if you're transitioning from a female to a male, you'd be at a disadvantage.
exactly. So if you want to do that, he says go for it. Go full
Yeah.
full steam. But the other way around, don't do that. I've only got one more.
Okay. We covered DeSantis. Okay, so cicadas.
Oh,
This is
geez.
more fun stuff. Cicadas are emerging after 17 years. That's the usual cycle, 17 years. But I'm sure. Well, we were talking about this before, but around 2013 was when we experienced cicadas here. But you
Yeah.
told me that was a different type of cicada, though.
I guess so. I mean, if I get a cicada in exile, I'm never working out again. Like, if there's a cicada in this gym, this tiny 400 square foot gym, I'm just like,
They're so annoying.
there's no kickboxing training to repair me.
Yeah, they're only emerging in certain areas.
Yeah.
So that's great. I haven't seen one
I
yet.
haven't seen one. You hear them now.
Yeah, you could definitely.
It's like the SpongeBob episode, a fishy, a smelly smell that smells
Right.
smelly when the,
Right.
what are they, sardines or whatever? They
Sardines
brush
or
it?
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I hope we don't experience that. But cicadas are definitely on the move
Oh,
as
jeez.
well.
That's great.
You said you only have one left, right?
One left.
Okay.
Should I finish it or you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
Real quick. And then another sad thing is happening. People are returning their pandemic pets. Like,
Aw.
come on. Are you serious? You got a pet for a pandemic. You have responsibility. Like, it's like having a kid. You can't return the kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? So people who just had a pet for the pandemic, for loneliness and all that jazz, they decided that they were like a return policy.
Oh my goodness.
And decided to return their pets to like adoption facility.
Is that what you say when you go to Petco?
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I don't know how that
Oh,
really works.
this was a pandemic pet. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
No receipt? Oh, pandemic pet?
No receipt needed. You can just return them. And then we have a sperm count crisis apparently. So the sperm count in these sperm banks have decreased by 50% in the last 40 years. And
That's that beta male stuff.
oh man,
They're sterile.
you hate the beta male alpha male stuff.
They're sterile.
Oh my god. And then if the trends continue, scientists say that we will experience a quote unquote spermageddon by 2045.
It's like, bro, that guy who I made the imitation of, who's saying,
Yeah.
"Back then die then."
Yeah.
You think that you think that he can produce sperm?
I don't know. You should ask him.
You think that the kid who sings the Fauci song, Fauci?
What's Fauci song?
I'll show it to you later. But I mean, you know what I'm talking about. There's a kid who's singing like Fauci is Lord Savior.
Oh my god.
In his little voice. I mean,
Fauci's another politician with a white coat.
they're sterile.
Ridiculous.
They're sterile.
And then also a lot of the decrease in sperm count had to do with unhealthy lifestyles, which we'll be getting to in a different video for sure. But it had to do with smoking, unhealthy eating habits, obesity, exposure to dangerous chemicals through plastics, cosmetics, pesticides, which is a huge problem in America. But that'll be a different video. But I mean, you can't speak about it, or you're discriminating. I have one more thing if you want to.
I think that my reasons were more accurate though than the actual facts. I've got two more, so I'll do one.
Nice.
The H1N1 bird flu found in China. So we got chickens who are giving people a highly transmissive virus. But don't worry, our officials say that the risk of transmission is low.
Yeah, the Richmond, and they actually did contact tracing for that.
And we can trust them.
You said China?
Oh, yeah. So be
know.
prepared to lockdown.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hope you didn't throw your masks out.
But China did say that they did contact tracing for that case and found that there were no cases that were. I don't know. I didn't even know what to tell you guys. I'm just scared now.
No man, we're not locking down again. America won't lock down again. They won't.
I don't think we're able to. I don't think anybody's really able to.
I don't think people will. Like even if it's
Yeah,
announced,
I don't
they
think
just
people
won't.
will.
No.
And then back to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So then now, going back to the, remember South Carolina with the whole gun firing squad for death row? So now Arizona, is hopping on that train like, hey, let's try Zyklon B, which is a drug that they used to it's a hydrogen cyanide gas, pretty much. And they used that in the Holocaust to kill Jewish individuals. I just don't understand the thought process behind that. Well, I didn't understand the thought process behind firing squad either, but why would you want to do that?
At this peak.
Like, I'm assuming, I didn't look it up, but I'm assuming they use that in gas chambers.
Yeah.
And that wasn't like a fast or humane death.
What was the number that 17,000 tweets about Hitler was right?
Oh, something like that. Yeah.
Maybe.
Recently.
Maybe it's connected.
It could be. It could be.
Okay, it's not connected. But.
Yeah, I feel like sarcasm kind of falls into the cracks a little bit.
That's crazy though.
Yeah,
that's
that's
insane.
nuts.
I don't know why we have all these new innovations on how to kill people.
And this is very recent though, too.
Yeah.
Like people are now like, hey, like why don't we just try this for death row or this for death row? I'm like,
Just let them loose in Portland.
wow.
Fend for yourself.
Yeah.
Portland with a machete and just like stay there. And I'll finish it off.
Yeah, finish it off.
Joe Biden in his
You finish it off with Joe Biden. Because we were talking about Joe Biden for so long. And
I want to come back to it because he leads into our next video. I have a plan. He was doing a speech about the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa massacre, which is a complete disaster. Where he said that white supremacy is our biggest threat, our biggest terrorist issue. He's been dancing around this idea for a while, but he came out and said that white supremacy, that's number one. It's nothing else. We need to focus on that. And we will come back and we'll explain to you why that is such a dangerous idea and why I believe that that's not incorrect. That's not correct.
Yeah, and that's also not to say that the Tulsa massacre was not a thing. Like the Tulsa massacre was one of the
was a great example of white supremacy.
Huge. Like that was. It's actually disgusting what happened that day.
Yeah.
But and obviously, like we said before in previous videos, well, I still believe that we're still experiencing the ramifications of that as well. Yeah, but different ideologies.
Agree to disagree. We fight to disagree.
Yeah.
All right. So I have said my words.
I said mine.
That's everything that's happened in the past week.
Probably like 2
week and a half.
More like week and a half.
There's a little bit more too. There's a little more stuff that's been happening too, but that's up to you to find out. We just give you the news, and you go and you do your own research, and then you subscribe.
Yep.
All right. That's the order of events. All right, do it. We will catch you guys later. All right.
Sure.
Peace out.
Peace.